Now, in its 11th year, this is GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey, everybody. Guess what? This is live from Harlem. It's the Ramble. Oh, I screw up an opening too, huh? That there is Chuck Farnham, ladies and gentlemen.
No way.
Whose lack of a tooth is now kind of becoming part of your persona.
I know. I really don't want to get it fixed anymore. I like the idea of being kind of a hillbilly.
I would do it. I would do an implant up there.
Yeah.
You know something? I would do an implant for all my teeth if I had enough money. Oh, let me just turn the lights on here. There we go. Then I look.
Yeah, I know somebody who had the implant fall out.
Huh?
I know somebody who had an implant fall out.
Really?
That's why I'm not doing that.
I have about 5 implants, I think. And to begin with, they made it much better. The first implant I got, you pull the tooth. Then you got to wait 3 months for that area to heal.
Right.
Then you put in the implant. And then you got to wait another 3 months to let it kind of settle and around, right?
Bind your bone or whatever.
Right. And it was probably about a 6.5 month process. All right. Now, different story altogether. I had the last one I had. Guy pulled my tooth, put in the implant, and told me to come back in a couple of weeks, and he'd put the crown on it. And he said, no, he said, the theory has just changed that whole healing period isn't needed, that you can have a tooth in you and an implant in you, and it will just heal anyway. Okay? And so we do it all at once. And I thought that was terrific because I was looking forward to this long slog of, this having to heal and that having to heal. And
I hate going to the dentist. They scare me.
I tell you what I hate about dentistry. It's boring. The boredom kills me. And I just went through a root canal. Root canals, I got to tell you, folks, don't hurt. They pump you with enough Novocaine that, they could drive a train through there. What the problem is it's boring. And it's, she's just digging in there. She's doing stuff and doing stuff and doing stuff. And in my case, she had an assistant who didn't know what they were doing because every now and then the new thing is she wants to take an X-ray all the time. In the old days, they took an X-ray only when they wanted to take an X-ray and then go into a little room and develop the thing and then bring it back. It wasn't that instantaneous.
Right.
Now she can use it to see how it's coming along.
Digital and move right along.
Yeah. So she gets her people to take an X-ray, and they don't know what they're doing, and they're futzing around. Meanwhile, I've got this thing. She's got a little, I don't know, thing she put in my mouth that I can't bite down, otherwise I'm going to feel it. So I'm like, and they're sitting there going, "Gee, which button do we push to get this to go?" And I'm thinking to myself, will you just hurry up? So that was the agonizing part about it. Pain? There's no pain.
I had a couple of broken teeth were pulled.
Yeah.
And the guy's giving me the Novocaine and stuff. And I go, dude, I can still feel it. And he goes, I'm 8 times the limit at the moment. And I go, 8 times the limit for what? And he goes, a person your weight. And I'm like, I can still feel it. And he goes, well, I can't give you any more. So I had to sit there through the pain.
Really?
While they ripped it out of my mouth.
Well, pulling a tooth, I was told by a doctor, they don't use as much Novocaine to pull a tooth. Because it's less traumatic than drilling.
I can't handle the sound of the drill.
Well, they give you Novocaine for drilling. You could actually, if it were a minor cavity, they don't need to do the Novocaine. They just do it to make you feel good.
I don't think there's anything minor in my mouth anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, at my age, I got all these little things. These teeth are a little crooked. But they were always crooked. They just got more crooked as I got older.
Yeah. I'm gonna get dentures.
Really? Well, anyways,
so.
when they started putting in the implants, I really said these are better teeth than the one I had.
Yeah. Of course they are.
And if I'm lucky, they'll never give me a problem. But the implant is, we think of it as a new technology. Excuse me, allergy days again. God damn it. It's not new technology. It's thousands of years old.
Really?
In tribes, in like the Pacific or someplace like that, guy would lose his tooth. They would take a piece of bamboo and drive it right into their mouth, and then they would put a fake tooth on there.
It's not helping me at all.
Well, no, but it's not a new thing. It goes back in history to tribes who would do it, literally do it. So I was kind of, thinking, well, if I did every one in my mouth, they could do a whole bridge and then put the implants there. That's what you do these days. And that's great. We don't have to worry about anything. I'm sorry. When's my next dental appointment? Doesn't matter. What? I need to have my teeth cleaned? Why?
Yeah. Well, that's why I wanted the false teeth so I could, I wouldn't have to go back again.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I can take them out at the table while we're eating and stuff.
Oh, no. If you get the implants, you don't take them out.
No, but the false teeth I would be taking out.
No, but if you had implants, you had them as implants.
I don't think I can do it.
What? Implants?
Scares me.
What, implants scare you?
Yeah.
Oh, I look forward to them.
Yeah, that's where we differ.
You see, he pulled the tooth, he put in the implant, I go home.
My blood pressure goes up when I drive by a dentist.
Oh, really?
Oh, my God. Scary
But
as
you
hell.
see, why are you afraid of dentists? I always had this argument with people. You go to a dentist, the only pain you're going to feel is when they put the Novocaine in. And you're not going to really feel a lot of pain if the dentist is good with it.
I feel pain after the Novocaine.
Okay, but anyway, they give you the Novocaine, then they do all the work, and that's it. There's no pain associated with dentistry.
I am A, scared, B, it hurts when they're doing the work. And I've been to many dentists.
Is it an imaginary hurt? Because you're assuming it's hurting?
It's not imaginary to me.
Really? It should only...
Would they give me the gas, though?
No, they don't give gas anymore.
They do here.
Really? I'm moving there.
Yeah.
I used to go to dentists for the gas.
Yeah.
Do they charge you extra for the gas?
Yeah, they do. Not much, though. It's like $30.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
I'm coming to your dentist just to use the gas.
Yeah. It's good. Then I'm perfectly fine.
I used to remember we were doing a TV show. You remember that when I was doing one of my specials? This was the horrible one, the worst special ever made. Alex Bennett wired again. Okay.
What's wrong with that? I like that.
Well, we can talk about that in a minute. But I was doing that show right after I would get off of work, doing the morning show.
Right.
I would work on that show, and I would work on that show till about 5 o'clock in the evening. And I was exhausted. And then I had a dental appointment, and I looked forward to it. Because in this case, it was basically a cleaning, or it could have been a root canal. I can't remember which it was. And they would just give me the gas. And it was the only time during the day I could totally relax.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it just put me right out. You could pull every tooth in my mouth, and I would say, have a good time.
Yeah, I was like, I just didn't care at that point.
So they're giving you
And-
gas out there. My God. Because I
Yeah.
mention gas to dentists here, and they go, oh, gas, oh, bad for you. I go, hey, I'm 85. You know, what do you, there are a few pleasures.
Well, they have to
in-
have. I think the problem is they have to have a gas guy there.
Oh,
It's like they have to have a anesthesiologist.
well, they have to have a perfect mix of oxygen.
Right.
But they used to know how to do that themselves. They didn't have to bring in
Now I think
and-
they have to have a guy.
they have to bring in an anesthesiologist for that. Used to be you didn't have to even do anesthesia. I mean, anesthesiologist just had a nurse, and they just mix.
Yeah.
What they do is they mix the oxygen and the nitrous oxide,
Right.
so that because if you just took nitrous oxide, you would probably suffocate. Okay.
Yeah.
So you need-
I've been to a couple of those parties.
Yeah, you need the you need the oxygen.
Yeah.
Okay, so they do a perfect mix of the oxygen, and you're in la la land. And then slowly towards the end, they start turning off the nitrous and just give you pure oxygen.
Right.
And by the time the dentist is finished doing whatever he's doing, you're wide awake. You're ready to go. You got a lot of oxygen in you, and you're feeling pretty good. So I loved.
Yeah.
gas.
No, it's good.
And when I came to New York, they went, "Oh, we can't do gas. Gas is bad for you." I mean, we have gas if you want it, but yeah. And I go, I used to have dentists that would give me gas and never ask if I wanted it. They just
Right.
let me have it. When I first used it was with a dentist I had here in New York. It was a friend of mine, and he said, "Want to get high?" That's how he put it.
Yeah.
And I said, sure. And he put this thing on me, and I went, that's the best dentistry I've ever
Oh
had.
yeah. No, it's good. I had a friend who used to go over to a dentist and get a big tank and bring it home for the weekend.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, there was a guy I knew by the name of Tom Farsad. He was the guy who started a very famous magazine at the time called High Times.
yeah.
And he used to go to parties with a big blue, it was a blue bottle, and just
Yep.
get everybody high on nitrous,
Yep.
you know?
I've been to that party.
Yeah.
And I had a very famous harmonica player. They used to put a mask on it to do it.
Yeah.
Instead of just sucking the nitrous in, they'd strap a mask to your face.
Well, what they do for dentistry, I think they have something that goes over the nose
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
so they can work on the mouth. You know.
Yeah, well, this guy, I said, I don't think you want to do that because I think you need oxygen as part of this experience. And he goes, no, I'll be fine. He puts the mask on. Next thing I know, he's falling into my lap.
Well, no, the thing is that it's nice if you can do a combination of oxygen. If they just give you pure nitrous, you get high, but you just go, and then that's it. You know, you don't keep it on you.
The way it goes into your brain, the nitrous is heavier than the oxygen, and the nitrous needs to come out, and the oxygen needs to come back in, or you're just high and you'll never get any oxygen
Oh, okay.
because it won't fall. The oxygen has to pull the nitrous module out of your
And
brain.
one great thing about nitrous oxide, it's not a drug. It's not a Class A drug or something like that. It's nitrous. Okay, you know where you can get nitrous? You ever go get these little whippets? These little
Right.
things.
The things that run whipped cream.
You put them in there, and don't put any whipped cream in there.
Yeah.
And then you just out of there, and you get high. I know people.
Welcome to every high school in America.
Yeah, kids in high school knew about whippets.
Yeah.
That was their first high. But nitrous isn't illegal. You know, there's nothing illegal about it. You know, but I figure at my age I can do just about anything.
Yeah.
You know, what's
matter.
it going to hurt? I mentioned to Marjorie, I said, you know, at our age we could do heroin and not worry about it. You know, the worst it could do is kill us, and that's simply doing God's work a few years early.
God's work. What are you going to church every day, Dan? You're mentioning Jesus a lot here, Alex.
I'm buying myself a little cross to wear.
Yeah.
Notice
That's
how everybody's wearing their crosses now? Come on. You know, I used to love the bit that I think it was Lenny Bruce did years ago, in which he said, if Jesus came back, I don't think he would want to see around the neck of all of his followers the method of his execution.
Execution.
It makes no sense to me. You don't want. I used to go to people's. I used to live in a Catholic neighborhood, and I go to the homes, and they would have a cross up on the wall, but not just a cross with Christ on it. And
Nice.
I'm going, boy, is that scary or what?
Well, I think Dana Gould has the "Follow You Eyes Jesus" on his wall at home.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so when you walk by, his eyes follow you.
Yeah. Well, these people, they just they're good God-fearing people, but Christ will go, oh, you're wearing the thing I died on.
Right.
What? I don't. They stuck nails in my hands. Are you
Right.
kidding me?
Why don't we go back to my birth and not my death?
By the way, can I give you a little bit of information? Do you know what killed people on the cross? Why they put them on a cross?
No.
What would you think killed them?
Loss of blood?
Nope.
Heat stroke?
Nope.
What?
The way they are positioned, their hands like this, and then they are literally being supported by their hands. Okay, they didn't even have to nail them. They sometimes they just tied them to the cross.
Yeah.
They suffocate because the lungs give out from the hands, arms being up like that. They're like that. I got to do it within the screen. You know?
Nice.
So that's what killed people with crucifixion. It wasn't, bleeding to death or heat prostration or anything or starvation.
Well, you only really see that photo of the one guy dying. You don't see a lot of those crucifixions.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, you'll see something.
Well, didn't the other two guys get brought down off the cross and they were given absolution or something? And then they took Christ off to the tomb and rolled the stone in front of the tomb. And the next day, probably the Christians stole Christ is what they did. And they made a legend out of it. Also, all these things, happened so long ago, we don't know the story is true.
Right. It's
I
a
don't
fable.
know. We don't know that Christ actually existed.
Well, he was gone for, 9 years or something?
What?
Nobody knows where he was.
Oh, yeah,
Like
there's
in
that
his
whole
mid-teens.
period. Yeah, he's a kid, and the next thing you know, he's all grown up.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Anything? Hey, new pope, huh?
What?
You got the new pope.
We got a new pope.
Chicago pope.
This is our religious edition of this interview.
Yeah. Well, we've moved on from medical conditions.
I like the new pope. I think he's cool.
Yeah, he looks young and interesting.
He looks young. He loves to play tennis.
Right.
He is. The story goes that he's, very much into various things which are very modern.
Normal.
He probably can sing the Baby Back Ribs song. I mean, we got a president, we got a pope who is at least contemporary to
Right,
for a
he
lot
goes to baseball games and stuff.
Yeah, and he plays tennis. But when he plays tennis now, does he wear those robes? I don't think.
I know that's
so.
what I was wondering too. I don't think so. He probably has a little short version of the robe.
They probably have something,
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, he's he's hip. He's gonna be. I think he's gonna be a fine pope.
I do too. I'm into this guy. He's fun.
I like him. He looks good. He speaks English, of course.
That helps.
Born in Chicago, but he had his ministry basically in Peru.
Right.
So he's considered to be a pope from Peru as well. So,
Yeah. Minorities need a pope.
I wonder if he ever smoked dope.
Chicago?
Yeah, because my friend David Peel wrote a song called "The Pope Smokes Dope," and I wondered it could very well be conceivably this guy has tried weed.
Right.
We
should find out.
Well, nobody ever interviews the Pope. Do you ever see an interview with the Pope?
They're very short and they're
just quick questions while he's sitting there. They never really interview him.
This guy's brother talks a lot though.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
The Pope's brother is probably where we will find out the information.
Yeah, but I mean, I would love to see somebody interview him. I would love to interview him. I mean, I would ask him some of these questions.
Yeah.
You're a young Pope. Have you ever tried marijuana? And he might say yes.
Right.
You know, it's very conceivable that he would say yes. Can you think of anybody his age who has not smoked marijuana?
Right.
So,
Yeah. And those old other guys were just of a weird older generation.
well, a lot of them, I'll tell you, he's, 69, I think.
Yeah.
But you get any of those other cardinals that are 69, and they all look much older. You
Yeah.
know? He just has a youthful look about him, you know? So,
I mean, I'm almost 67,
yeah.
so
Yeah, but I mean, I think he'll be a good pope, you know?
yeah.
There have been some pretty bad popes, especially for Jews, during
You mean
World.
that German one?
No, well, there was Pope Pius, who during World War II did everything he could do to make sure nobody tried to take over the Vatican and stuff. So he just played along with Hitler and Mussolini.
What about Rasberger? The one who retired.
Oh, retired. Oh, you mean the one who?
The one before the one we just had.
Yeah. What are you saying about him?
He was German.
Yeah,
And
he
very,
was.
very much a Nazi sympathizer.
He sounded like, when he would talk, he sounded like Bela Lugosi.
Yeah.
I thought it was, the Pope is Dracula.
Yep. That was a scary mother.
But
And now he's being taken care of at the Vatican there by nuns.
no, he's not. He's
He's
dead.
got a little condo.
He died.
Did he die?
He died. Yeah, he had a little condo off campus.
Really? He's gone?
Yeah.
Where was I during that?
Yeah. No, he went.
I missed that one.
Oh yeah. No, he went. He went into retirement. I think he lived about 5 years.
Yeah.
He wasn't well. Is one of the reasons why he quit the job.
Mentally, either. I don't think he ever.
I think I would quit the job after 20 years, saying this is getting boring.
Yeah.
But you don't find many popes just suddenly.
Well, you know how much the Pope makes? I found that out.
Really, I didn't know.
$80,000 a month.
80,000 a month.
Yeah.
And what does he spend it on?
Well, usually he gives it to the poor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
If you were the Pope, would you give it to the poor?
Well, I think that's your job.
My attitude is fuck the poor.
I think that's the job.
I don't mean
You're the
that,
Pope.
folks.
You're the head of the
I don't
poor.
mean that, folks, but I just thought it was a good joke.
Yeah, no, it's fine. No, I think that's your job, taking care of the less fortunate.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I would imagine that's the job of the Pope. I think that should be the job of the president.
Yeah.
Apparently,
he only takes care of himself.
Well, he wakes up in the morning and says, what can I do today to screw up people's lives?
Yeah.
I mean, when we're doing this, they're passing this budget or whatever. And, I mean, it does away with things like is it SNAP program or something like that?
Right.
Which feeds kids who can't afford food.
Right.
I mean,
Meals on Wheels.
Why would you stop
Wheels.
that unless you're the most evil human being on the planet?
Yeah. It's like he cuts back Medicare, Medi-Cal, Meals on Wheels.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Like, come on.
Yeah, and I just don't understand what the thinking is.
He doesn't think. That's
I just
the problem.
think that your job as a president is to make life better for everybody, not worse.
Yeah.
To protect
Ridiculous.
your job. Your main job is to protect Americans.
Well, that's why he's got the Golden Dome.
Oh, he's got this new thing to protect the country called the Gold Dome. Why is everything gold this and gold that? There's the
He
gold,
loves the gold.
the
for
gold
some
card
bizarre
where if
reason.
you pay
Did you see he covered all the stuff in the Oval
it's terrible,
Office in gold?
terrible. The Oval Office looks horrible.
Horrible. It looks. Yeah. It looks like
But
a
he
white
has
trash.
his gold card you can buy for $5 million. It will
Right.
give you automatic citizenship.
Yeah. He thinks gold is the most important thing.
Yeah, and so the gold dome, the gold this, the gold that.
He's got the gold faucets on the sinks, everything.
This is getting to sound like Tammy Faye Baker and Jim Baker with their little.
Hey, Tammy Faye owes me $17. Don't get me started.
Why does she owe you $17?
She was supposed to send me an autographed photo, and then she died.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't get a refund.
Oh, okay.
So she still owes me the 17.
Well, she's dead.
Hey, it's not my fault. She was asking
next
for
time we
$17.
talk-
I gave her $17, then she died.
Next time we talk, we have to talk about them, because I was a big fan.
I was a huge fan. Huge.
I used to watch it every day.
Every day. That and the other guy with the chrome pit helmet, Gene Scott.
Well, Gene, you like Gene Scott? Yeah. But he would just
that's what we'll do next time. We'll talk about Gene Scott.
Gene Scott and Tammy Faye and Jim Baker.
Yeah.
They were wonderful.
Best people on earth. Now we've got, who's the guy that makes people fall over? He puts his hands on them and they start shaking and they fall over.
That wasn't Jimmy Swaggart, was it?
No. This was a new.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I can't remember the name now.
Yeah.
That's
what we'll discuss. We'll discuss
all those guys next.
I went to the studio for the chrome pit helmet guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I love that guy.
We're running over time here, but
right.
I wish we had more time and we could do another one of these and talk about that. But let's remember the next time we get together, we're going to talk about TV
the
preachers.
Swaggarts and the Jim and Tammy Faye.
Jim and Tammy were the best.
Yes,
the best.
Make that water slide to Jesus. That's what we want.
I have something. Okay, here we're running over, folks. I have something that you would be jealous that I have. I think I still have it in my what do you call it? My storage.
Yeah.
Susie Moppet doll.
Oh.
This was the character that Tammy Faye created, and they were puppets that they used to do for what's his name? Falwell.
Falwell.
Yeah. And it's a little doll, the Susie Moppet doll, and when you pull the string on it, it says, "Jesus loves you. He really, really does." And it's Tammy Faye's voice.
Oh, that's a dream come true.
That was given to me by Lori Thompson.
Nice.
Whose mother gave money to PTL.
I think I did too.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, we'll talk about all that next time. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the guy we talk to too much. Chuck Farnham. Thanks,
Too much going on.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks, buddy.
Now, in its 11th year, this is GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
And that was our good friend Chuck Farnham. And we'll have him on again sometime very soon. I definitely believe we will. Yes. Okay? All right. Okay. Anyway, hello. It's Thursday already, and I'm a little tired tonight, but what the hell? We'll do a show. I've got the air conditioning on full blast. It was 90 degrees in Manhattan today. And I probably should ask some people how hot it was where they were, but let's see if we can bring some of them in here. Let's see. Here they come, folks. There's Kevin, and there is Josh Wheeler, and I guess we'll have other people joining us soon. Hello, guys. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Huh? Doing okay. And let's see. Kevin's putting on his earphones. What are you looking at, Kevin?
The hockey game's on.
A hockey game?
Yeah.
Yep.
They just tied it up with 19 seconds to go, and now they're going to overtime, probably.
Well, any description of this game without the written permission of the commissioner of hockey?
I give you permission.
Oh, okay. You know why they have that announcement at the beginning of baseball games now, don't you? I used to work for the guy who forced them into doing it.
Oh, yeah?
His name was Gordon McClendon, and he started a thing called the Liberty Radio Network. And what he would do was recreate baseball games. He would go out to the parks, get a building like an apartment or something above it, okay, and then sit there, watch the game with binoculars, and then do a play-by-play. Oh, actually, he wouldn't. Somebody would phone him the kind of the rundown of what was happening. And he would do such good recreations of baseball that nobody wanted to listen to the other ones. So the phony one had the best ratings. Well, the commissioner of baseball didn't like that, so they made it illegal for you to do that.
Yeah, well, it's funny because even I watch some of these things on TikTok, and they got the games going in the background, and they'll kick you off TikTok if you got a game going in the background.
Oh, really? Just the audio of the game?
Well, some of them have the game actually up on a TV somewhere in the background. If it's on there, they kick them off.
Wow.
Yeah. So they got to be careful what they.
Well, how dare they?
got going
How
on.
dare
I
they?
know, what the hell? Everybody else freaking does that so they can charge the bars triple to play the shit in the bars.
Well, it also all happens to, you know what it all boils down to? And it's become real now, real. And that is that the reason why we protect the sports so much and the reason why we put them on the air and things like that is gambling.
Yeah.
It's just for gambling purposes. That's
money.
all. You know,
Money,
you can't
money,
just...
Money.
You can't just sit there and watch a game, okay, and just watch it for the game itself. No, you've got to do this whole thing with the gambling and all of that. By the way, while you're at it, be sure you bet responsibly, okay? Just want to pass that along to you. Because some lawyers there at those betting organizations said, you better put that at the end of your commercial, otherwise you might get sued.
Yeah.
Well, we told them they should bet responsibly. Yeah, but it was in such tiny letters, you can't even read it.
Like drink responsibly, or the coffee was too hot at McDonald's and it fell in my crotch.
Yeah. Use heroin responsibly, okay? Yeah. But anyway, hello, Charlie. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
I can tell by the very nice pillows and the curtained windows and the feminine style of that apartment you're in that it isn't yours, you slob.
Nope. Not mine.
Are you neat, by the way? I've never noticed whether you were neat or not because you've got too many like bookcases and stuff full of stuff.
No, I'm not neat.
Charlie's a neat guy.
Okay. So why I never see you at your place and she's at your place, so you always stay overnight at her place, right?
Yeah.
Is that how lousy your place is? I mean, I haven't seen it, but
No, my place gets cleaned about once a year, whether it needs it or not.
oh really? Oh, okay. We have a cleaning woman that comes in now, and I hate cleaning women. I mean, I love ours. She's a delight. She's an absolute treasure. But I don't like anybody cleaning up behind me. It makes me feel uncomfortable. Because to begin with, when they clean the top of my, say, table by the bed, they always put things back where they would put them.
Yeah.
And not where I put them. And that's why I don't like anybody cleaning my apartment. But since Marjorie...
But you don't like cleaning it either, do you?
Well, you know something, I'm like Charlie. In the marina where I used to live, I had this apartment, and once a year I'd look at it and go, this place sucks.
And then go balls to the walls and clean everything.
I better do something. I better do something about this. And I would... Wait a minute.
Holy shit, what happened, Jeff?
Wait a minute.
He was either beat up or he got in an accident.
Character, the Tammy Faye.
Wait a minute, you got to turn your audio down. You're still listening to the interview with.
Yeah, let me cut it on.
Okay, we got to find out what this is. Either that is something that is because he had some kind of accident or something, or it's a crash element. One or the other.
Got a haircut.
What is that all about?
Skincare.
I'm having my brain being tested to understand if they can give me some different drugs that help me to understand things clearly. That's it.
Okay.
So I just said, okay, the way to figure that out is you put this thing on, which is basically a bunch of metal things that are all over my head.
Yeah, they're not embedded or anything, are they?
No, no. And it's attached to this electrical thing, and trying to figure out if I will be better or not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw something on that the other night on the news. It was last night, I think it was, about how they're getting these people to be able to talk by reading the left side of their brain or whatever side it is.
Where did you see that? I saw something on like 60 Minutes or
It's
something.
on AI. Yeah, it was how they're using that to actually get people to think what they want to say, and then it says it.
Yeah, yeah. They're coming up with a lot of stuff now, but you have to look like that for a while.
It was just about a week.
About a week, and then they just what's it record?
Yeah, so
is it recording?
tomorrow I get it taken off,
Is it recording all your brain stuff?
I guess.
Oh, okay. What do you mean you guess?
Well, what do I know? Maybe,
I wouldn't let them put something like that on me unless they told me what it was going to do.
Well, I know it's supposed to, but it may that it's no different than it was before. In other words, they gave me a different medication.
No, here is by the way, Brian Neary lying in bed.
That's the only piece of furniture I have in the house.
It's a blow up thing, right?
No, I junked that one. I got a foam one because I was afraid Armin was going to claw into it and pop it.
Oh, the old one.
My cat.
Yeah,
So,
your
yeah,
cat.
so he's okay for this one.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyway. Yeah, I get it. As I told you, I have a cat right now that we're taking care of. I think tonight was the last night we're going to have her, but she's, she's been okay, It's nice having that presence around the house. The funny part is the cat, when she wakes up, she sleeps all day, okay? She's got a closet she sleeps in all day. We always know where she is, but she's there all day. And then about 6 o'clock, Pussy wakes up, okay? And now she's always hanging out with us. She's walking around with us. She's pestering us. She's lying in the middle of the hallway because I've got to give her, I have to rub her stomach because she won't let me by. I called it the toll, the kitty toll, but I've changed it to the kitty tariff because it's more like a tariff. And so I have to do that. And it's been kind of fun. But what happens is she sleeps all day and then all night she bothers us. So we can't get to sleep at night. Jumps up on the bed, does all kinds of things, But finally she settles down and we all go to sleep at the same time. Although she sleeps under the bed where we sleep because she feels she's sleeping with us, but not on us. Okay, so.
Yeah,
This stupid one, the contractor had a piece of plywood out in from the master bathroom, and stupid cat went in the floorboards and was in between the 2 stories all day today.
Did she finally come out?
Yeah, finally came out, and my contractor made a piece of wood. So right when he came out, I put that down. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, I saw that last night, and I said the cat's going to go down there.
Yeah.
You know why? Because that's what cats do.
I know. Yeah. I knew he'd come out.
Curiosity killed the cat.
Huh?
Curiosity killed the cat.
Yeah, well, and then I've got a window here. Marjorie likes to keep it kind of open. We've had to keep it kind of closed. And she had a little too much open last night. And I worry about it because I'm not worried that the cat's going to jump, but that she's going to go out on the sill on the outside of the apartment and look down. And that's going to drive me crazy. And I'm not going to rush over to grab her because I'm afraid she'll then jump. And then I will have to say to the people who own this cat, did you notice your cat was visibly depressed? That's not my joke. That's Woody Allen told that story. And the story was told to him by Truman Capote. And he went over, somehow he had a date or something. He went over to this woman's house, and there was a dog. And she said, I'm going to get ready. I'll be out in a couple of minutes. And while he's sitting there, the dog comes along and drops a ball at his feet. Now, you've had that happen with dogs, right? You know what they want. They want you to throw the ball. So he throws the ball, and the ball bounces around the room, and so does the dog, and he's bouncing and bouncing. He throws the ball again. The dog's bouncing around the room, and then he bounces the ball again, but it goes out the window, and so does the dog. He said, well, how did you tell her? And he said, no, I just went out to dinner with her. And at dinner, when we were through, I said, by the way, have you noticed that your dog looks terribly depressed lately? One of the great stories. And hello to our old friend Josh Wheeler. Hello, Josh.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm getting ready for the big parade.
Yeah.
I'm going to get my little American flag, and I'm going to wave it, you know?
It'll be good.
You know why? Because I like to be jingoistic.
Yeah. Saturday.
It's Saturday, isn't it?
And, watch it on C-SPAN at 6. They have a little link on their website for you.
Is anybody else going to? I guess Fox will cover it.
I would assume. I don't really know if anybody's covering it or not.
Then MSNBC or utter morons will probably run it.
I'm not sure. I don't really know if any of the cable networks or even the non-cable networks. I don't know if there's anything else Saturday night that, like the NBCs and CBSs have. I mean, it's not football season or anything like that. So I don't know if they have anything that competes, but I haven't really heard or looked.
I'll bet you that CBS carries it because Sherry, what's her name, doesn't want to get Trump mad at her again.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And I'm sure Fox will carry it. MSNBC won't carry it. CNN might. That I don't know whether they will or they won't.
Yeah, I haven't heard, one way or the other, or even looked. I just know. I did look on the guide, that's published on the TV thing that I have, and it's listed under C-SPANs, and then they have a little banner on their website, the homepage or whatever, that says, Saturday at 6 p.m. that their coverage would start. So
I'm pretty sure that Fox Live Raw will carry it too.
Fox Live Raw will cover it, but
they don't have commentary, but they just,
right.
They just broadcast it.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine Fox will have like a people on the ground or whatever.
Fox News, yeah, not Fox Live. They don't do anything. It's almost like C-SPAN, but they still have a little bit of comment in between. They throw a bunch of commercials.
Yeah, I've never watched that, but I'm sure that the Fox,
it's actually not too bad.
The regular Fox channel, I'm sure, will have.
Oh yeah.
Probably some kind of desk with 4 or 5 Barbie dolls and a there talking about how great America is and all that.
Absolutely.
Let's see. I wrote down Saturday's Washington Parade being covered by any networks.
Yeah, like I had said, when we get back to our hotel Saturday and I turn it on, it'll be the C-SPAN feed. That way, I just get the coverage of the event, and I don't have to hear about any of the Trump stuff or anything like that, and no camera panning over to him every 90 seconds, that kind of stuff.
Okay, they say it's going to be covered by NBC News Now.
It's the same thing as at Fox Now, yeah.
Those are like their streaming apps, probably, or whatever.
Yeah,
too.
and they're going to let's see. Then it's going to be CBS News 24/7 and ABC TV News Live.
Right, which is most of that stuff is like streaming based, I think.
It's stuff where they just cover stuff that's live.
That's what I'm saying. But the access to it is all like app based or streaming based and stuff like that.
Yeah, getting it on YouTube TV. Yeah.
Right. So as far as like regular traditional, I guess if that's what you want to call it, channels go. C-SPAN obviously, and then I'm sure that Fox will, and that I assume that'll be it. I mean, I can pull the guide up here in a second. I'll look and see if
ABC News said in a statement the network will cover the parade across programs and platforms, including on streaming channel ABC News Live. Championship game of the United Football League, Spring Association, will air on ABC's broadcast channel.
Everybody be on that.
Yeah, they're going to be watching football. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the Fox Fox News Channel did not return requests for comment either. Who was the other one that wouldn't? NBC News Wednesday around 10:45 a.m. did not receive a response by this time, so they didn't answer. But
like I went to the channel guide, like through my DirecTV, and I have it on that time Saturday. C-SPAN is listing is covering it, so I'll flip through some of these other channels and see if anyone else is listing it or not.
And is there any other that you see? No.
I'll let you know here. I'm going through them. Channel. Merritt Street? I've never heard of that channel.
Well, if you really want to honor the military, you don't have to bring in all that equipment to show. Plus, it's not going to look as good as a North Korean parade or a Russian parade, because they come out with their rockets and their drones and everything. Here, we just got a bunch of tanks coming in. I don't know why. They're going to rip up the streets. Going to cost $16 million to repair the streets.
Well, they're supposed to have rockets and, the launchers, the mobiles, the AMRAAM.
Helicopters. Yeah.
Oh, God. I hate that. I just hate it. I just hate it.
They're going to have some vintage equipment, some artillery equipment from World War II, some tanks from World War II. A lot of old Jeeps, stuff like that, I heard. That's what I heard. I haven't seen a list or anything, but I heard something on a radio interview on the POTUS channel on Sirius where they said that that's what they were going to have.
Yeah. But anyway, it's there. I just think it's a terrible thing.
Now, CNN, their guide for Saturday at that time on, like I said, through my DirecTV says CNN special coverage. Doesn't know what. It just says 6 to 10 p.m. Brianna Keeler and Boris Sanchez anchored live from Washington, D.C. So,
guess what?
I would assume that means CNN will have
what's it called? The CNN thing? What's it called? Is there a name there?
It's just called CNN special coverage.
Oh, okay. I guess that's what they're going to be doing.
So I'm sure that is what they will have. Now, I know some of the networks, like the U.S. Open is this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Which is pretty major. So that will compete with
hockey games on Saturday, too.
But NBC has that, so they won't be able to have it. And they're listing the U.S. Open being on, which I'm sure will break the heart of the guys who have to cover the golf at NBC, because all those fucking cocksuckers on NBC's coverage love him.
Who do you think is going to get more viewership, the parade or the U.S. Open?
Probably the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
Well,
but Trump is going to say it was the biggest ratings that ever got on television, right?
Yeah, it's not listed for being covered on ABC or CBS. Or like I said, NBC will have the U.S. Open, and then ABC and CBS have regular programming on their regular over-the-air channels. Not any of that extra, stuff. Like NBC might carry it on Peacock, for example, or something like that. But I forgot the U.S. Open was this weekend, so that'll go on till probably 7 p.m. that night. So they're not listed as having it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It looks like CNN's going to cover it. C-SPAN's going to cover it. MSNBC does not have it listed. CNN International does list it.
Brilliant.
CNN International does list U.S. Army 250th anniversary parade, and Fox News obviously does list that they're covering it live.
Really? Okay.
So you'll have, 3 or 4 of your more traditional channels.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, if how many people are going to watch this thing in reality. Well, you're not going to watch it, are you, Bree? Are they running it over there in Malaysia? No. Okay.
I mean, the U.S. Open will be, is one of the top 4 biggest golf tournaments of the season. So it's a major championship. So it does carry heavy viewership. Usually, obviously, it'll depend on what the leaderboard looks like, on Saturday. But I mean, it's a heavily watched program. Like I said,
Just later in the day, though.
The crew that works for NBC, Steve Azinger, and a couple of those pricks are Trump lovers. So I wouldn't be surprised if they don't call in sick and say that they can't possibly do their job that weekend because their great leader has required them to be at home watching.
Wait a minute, there are some people at NBC who are actually Trumpers?
Oh, the golf team. Everybody in golf loves that fucking idiot. And the golf commentators think he's the greatest. Steve Azinger, that fucking prick. He
Just
thinks
like NASCAR.
the greatest thing that's ever lived.
Well, I would imagine it out of NASCAR, okay? That I would imagine.
There.
I can imagine NASCAR. There's no question about that. But then again, you never know. Things have changed. The tide has turned for Trump. A lot of people are very pissed off at him. And, so.
Yeah, I was telling these guys I was watching the Padilla thing today live, and I saw all that happen, and I went,
oh, yeah, this happened today. Was it today? Yeah, today.
Yeah. This morning.
The senator from California, Padilla, I can't remember his first name right now, he went to a press conference,
DHS.
I think.
For the DHS, yeah.
For the DHS that Kristi Noem was holding.
Kristi Noem.
Yeah. And he started yelling a question at her, What was he doing exactly? Do you know?
He walked in the room. I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
He walked in the room and started walking towards her to get a question asked.
Oh, okay.
And then they came at him saying that, if you listen to Fox, he lunged at her. And she didn't know who it was, and they didn't know who it was. But if I remember correctly, they used to work together. But anyway, they accused him, and then she said that he did not identify himself, and it clearly shows in the film that he's saying, I'm Alex Padilla, the state senator for California, and I need to ask some questions as they're pushing him out. Okay, so they got him outside the door. Then they turn around and they throw him on the ground. 3 guys have their knees on him, almost, what's his name style.
Yeah.
And they cuff him. And the whole time, she says in the interview afterwards, she didn't know who it was. They didn't know who it was. He lunged at her. None of that shit happened. And she was blaring out her rhetoric during the press conference as well. It sounded like Trump female. The whole.
But my question
overblew the area that was under siege, according to her. She said it was 10% of LA. Now, 10% of LA is more than the city, the downtown area.
Oh,
itself.
Yeah, no, it wasn't 10%.
0.1%, maybe.
It was, in fact, I was watching Jimmy Kimmel, and he gave the statistic. Yeah. It is 0.1% of 1%. In fact, I think it was Schwarzenegger who said it. 0.1% of 1% of LA.
Yeah. But she was saying it was 10%, and 10% of LA is worth saving. Don't you want a clean city? This city is a dump and blah, blah, blah. And I'm going, holy shit, this is the exact same shit that Trump said 15 minutes ago in another speech.
It's the old Hitler tactic of the...
It's Gestapo.
Of the lie. You repeat a lie often enough, and people come to believe it to be true.
Exactly. And he's got all his minions out there repeating the lies.
Yeah, LA is in flames right now. Don't you know?
If it wasn't for him.
that the police, and they're federal agents, they know this. They go over the people that are filming there and detaining him, whatever term you want to use for it. They tell them they need to stop recording them, turn your phones off right now. And if you don't stop recording this, you're going to get arrested. And it's like, so maybe someone could inform them that the Supreme Court of the United States of America has ruled like 14 different fucking times that you can film the police, even if they're arresting you. You can film the police,
Yep.
and especially bystanders who are not directly involved can film the police anytime they want. I mean, the public sphere like
And that's
that.
why they're wearing body cams now, so that they want to argue. They can argue against video.
Like I see that I see that all the time though, not just today, but several times a year I always see these police officers walking up to people and be like, "You need to turn your camera for whatever." And it's like, actually, no, I don't. And I'm not into filming the police or anything. I've never done it. I'm just saying it's like, no. I mean, if it's if you see the police on the street and you're standing on a public street, you can film them. There's not against the wall. So, they always yell about that and act like they're so important or whatever. I mean, I'm with them on everything, but they get out of hand with this stuff and then they start acting like that. It's like, we're not trying to make it hard for your job, but don't worry about that. Just take care of the situation. Don't if you handle the situation professionally, you don't need to be worried about who's fucking recording.
Correct.
If I were a truck driver, I wouldn't be saying, "Oh, you can't record me driving around in my truck," because I'm going to drive properly. I don't care if you record me driving around the truck and send it to the company. What the fucking difference does it make? So you get all upset about it. It's like, give it up, man. It's not against the law. You guys should know this by now.
But it's amazing how by now these people that are Trumpers haven't yet learned that this guy lies like crazy, never gives them the right information. If you want to talk about fake news, it's any of the news that's reported of things Trump has said that are fake. And yet Fox is never called to account for fake news.
Yeah.
Oh, they were all over it. I watched the live thing, then I went over to CNN, and they were kind of on and off it. But then I went over to Fox, and I was watching them, and they twisted it just like they wanted it to. Socialistic, engagement, everything. Lunged. He barged into the room. He didn't barge into the room. He walked into the room. It's a federal building. He had to go through every goddamn metal detector possible to get in there. They knew who he was. She said, I didn't know who he was.
What do you mean she didn't know who he was? They worked together.
And they didn't identify. He didn't identify himself. And it's clearly on the video that he identified himself. It's like, what the fuck? And if you listen to
did they haul him off to jail?
No, they didn't. They just detained him. They didn't arrest him. And they just cut him loose. And then they went and had a happy fizzy party after in their own office. And she said that we talked for 15 minutes and everything is fine. Bullshit. Absolute
no,
bullshit.
It's not fine.
Yeah.
Why was he running?
He claims that he called her for a week asking about this shit. And she claims he never called. The whole fucking thing.
It's full of shit.
And it was exactly what Trump does, only it was her. And it's Homeland Security, and it's getting ugly now.
And it was the big lie.
The whole frickin' thing is getting ugly, and it's going to continue to get ugly unless people in Congress start standing up and saying, listen, asshole.
Well, Congress is not going to.
They need to.
Senate,
I watched a lot of C-SPAN today, and they're all standing up for it, but they do that, and then they don't do anything afterwards.
But what part of Congress? The Democrats? Or are there other Republicans?
Yeah, it was mostly Democrats, broadly.
Yeah, of course.
And it was all senators. And, this is appalling, blah, blah, blah. But, go over to Fox and see what they want.
Most big, wonderful bill still has a hard time of getting through the Senate because the Senate is turning on him on this thing. Rand Paul won't vote for it. Just will not vote for it.
I heard he was softening, but I'm not sure where I heard that.
I heard him today, and he said he wasn't softening. This goes against every.
He's invited to the. He's invited to the picnic now. So
oh, that's right. Yeah,
What picnic?
the big party. The big.
Well, he
party.
wasn't invited to some kind of picnic at the White House. He was disinvited, and he was very upset because the White House is running a campaign against him since he won't vote for it. And he knows for a fact they have been calling up people and offering them cash money to go on Twitter and say bad things about him. And they didn't invite him to the picnic, or his grandson, who was really looking forward to it. And he just can't believe the president or the president's staff would be that petty. He just can't believe it. I just can't believe that the president wouldn't invite me to his picnic where I was fully prepared by all means to jerk him off. And now he doesn't even want me to come. Oh, because I won't vote for his bill. I can't believe it. It's just so sad.
Oh boy! What picnic is this? Is this a president picnic?
Just one of
must
his.
have some kind of fucking circle jerking get together deal they do. I don't know.
I just mispronounced something, but it serves. It serves the function. I said picnic.
You know, I'm not invited to their picnic. It's not right. I can't believe they wouldn't invite me to their picnic because I wouldn't go for their picnic.
Well, I was going to bring my picnic basket.
I mean, you're so surprised. I mean, oh my God, I know. It's almost like they've never done anything like that before. I don't know what made them start acting like that now. He's a fucking idiot. I mean,
wow.
You're upset you don't get to eat lunch with whatever, man. I mean, he's an idiot.
Then he posted on X or something a picture of, I guess he got invited to the picnic, so now he's got his kid and his grandkid in his arm with a MAGA hat on backwards. I'm going,
oh my God.
Ridiculous. Just ridiculous.
Well, you know, these people who are not standing up for what is right they're going to be a very special place in hell for them to rot. You know?
Worried about getting, I don't know.
You know, I mean, I just think that these people are amazing, so far as I'm concerned. That they won't do anything about this, these Republicans. And you know, the Democrats are doing it only because it goes after the Republicans by doing it. But it's just, you know, I don't know. I've gotten to the point where I just can't stand any of this, and you know, I'm anti-military. I forget it. I'm anti-cop. You know, leave me alone. Come at me, treat me like I'm a horrible person. But I just, you know, I mean, up until recently, wasn't it the cops that were beating up black people? Or did we forget that?
Old news.
And do you expect the hostility over something like that to just go away overnight because you said, "Oh, that's bad"? Okay, you know, so because Schumer said it was bad. I don't know. I give up. Hello to Bree. Obviously, is either on a plane or on a bus. I will bet. Is that a bus, Bree? See, I was good. It looks like it could be a plane, but it's a bus. They make buses to look like planes now. And where are you going on this, what seems to be an extensive bus ride? What?
No voice.
I can't hear you. So. Do you have a pencil or something? Can you write it down for us? Where are you going?
One word.
Where are you going?
One word. First word sounds like.
Yeah.
We did see, it looks like in the last, I don't know, I think this must have been in the last half hour maybe or something.
He's gonna hold it up on his phone, is he? Oh, let's see here. He's going to Georgetown. Is that South Africa? Is that South Africa, Bree? No. There are a lot of Georgetowns in the world, aren't there?
University?
No.
It does look like Newsom won his lawsuit against Trump over the deployment of the troops, at least the first round. It's not going to change.
Oh, really?
I think the ruling came out, I believe, just in the last half hour or 45 minutes or so. It was the top headline, and he just appeared on C-SPAN here a minute ago while we were talking with a press conference. So they did get a court ruling in their favor, 36-page ruling that said, the president did not have the authority to nationalize the California National Guard without the governor's consent in this case, and had no right to order active duty Marine Corps troops to Los Angeles because the incident did not meet, the plain understanding and meaning of an insurrection or a rebellion or an invasion. So, they've already, appealed, and it'll go up further. So it won't change anything.
They got to return control to him for the National Guard.
He did, at least on the initial round, courts did rule in favor of California.
So right now, actually, couldn't Newsom just tell the National Guard go home?
Well, no, I mean, they won't pull him out anyway. And the judge did stay his own order temporarily because the government had already filed with them before he even made his ruling that if they lost, they would file an immediate appeal. So they did stay the ruling, awaiting the appeal. So,
and who is the appeal going to be judged by? Him as well?
No, I think it goes to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. So that'll be a judge panel. This was just a single district court judge, but they filed the immediate appeal, and that'll go. I think it's the Ninth Circuit out there, and usually it's a 3-judge panel on the first.
Well, the Ninth Circuit Court is pretty liberal, isn't it?
Stayed until June 13th.
Probably, yeah.
Stayed until June 13th?
Yep.
That's tomorrow.
Yep.
So tomorrow it could be back in force again? Is that what you're saying?
Not sure. I didn't have time to read the whole article, but it's something. I mean, it just sounds like probably what they're going to do is they're probably going to go to the Ninth Circuit, and they're going to ask for the Ninth Circuit to issue an injunction. Those things they argued against in the Supreme Court a few weeks ago. Issue an injunction that says nothing changes until they make their ruling and they hear arguments in a couple weeks.
It's June 20th. Sorry.
No, this goes on and on and on.
They're probably going to want a stay of any ruling until from the Ninth Circuit. They're probably going to ask them to issue something until they hear the case.
Okay, but if this comes out against Trump, which I think it should, because after all, aren't the what do you call the state? What do you call it? The
National Guard.
National Guard. Aren't they operated and run by the governor? In other words, he has to ask them to come out.
That's the typical procedure, yes.
Okay. All right. Well, if at least that gets established, it'll stop Trump from doing it again, I would imagine.
Well, they'll appeal, and then, they'll go as far as they need to go. I think it'll have trouble in the end because I think eventually, as it goes higher, or certainly at the Supreme Court, I don't think they're going to want to say no, because who is the judge of what, justifies an invasion or a rebellion or an insurrection? Like, who's the judge of that? It's the executive. It's a case by case. We can't tell the executive. I think they'll just dance around it like that. Personally, honestly, I think that's what'll happen.
Yeah. Well,
nothing much to do about nothing in the end.
Well.
Because I think that's what they'll say. They'll say, who's, what constitutes an emergency and what constitutes the governor not doing their job or that. And if we take this power away from the president, how do we set a clear standard to know when he does have the power? Too complicated. We can't do that. So they'll just say it's the executive's interpretation, and it's up to the voters to rectify that situation through elections.
Okay. All right. Well, it's all bullshit. We have a president who's doing things that aren't presidential. That's all. You know, he doesn't know what the job of president is, and he doesn't know the limitations of being a president is. He thinks that once you become president, you are king of the world. You know,
which brings it back to what I heard or someone said on one of those on the news report or something, that Stephen Miller was the one that started all the shit. And that doesn't surprise me at all, but what the fuck is he doing involved in it? Why is he involved with it? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And is that the fact that, you know, he's under Trump and he's sitting there feeding him all this shit, and if he doesn't do it, you know, he's going to find a way to do it? You know, Stephen Miller's a piece of shit, and he's
Yep.
He's a little fucking. Because he's a little fucking little fascist. I mean,
yeah, he's a little
fucking. They fired the ABC guy for basically saying that, but you know, just because that guy got fired, don't change.
Let's talk about that for a second.
Fucking fascist.
But who was the guy? What was his name at CBS at ABC who got let go because he had an opinion about something?
Yeah, I guess Terry Moran, the guy that interviewed a few weeks ago. You know, he put out a tweet or whatever, I guess. I don't have Twitter or none of that shit, but I read that he said Trump was a big time hater or some shit like that. And he said Stephen Miller was like a guy that, you know, has a lot of hate in his heart or whatever. Like, yeah, no fucking shit. I mean,
well, and this was privately done online, right?
That was on the Twitter, I guess.
It was on Twitter, but it wasn't an ABC tweet, right?
No, it was on his personal. I don't know if it was his personal or like his personal ABC one that he uses as a reporter. I don't really know how they all that out, you know, but because you know some people have like, I'm the official, you know, sideline reporter for ESPN. Here's my official tweets. And then here's also my personal one because I'm a hot chick, and here's a bikini photo of me from the weekend. You know, go follow both. I mean, some of them have that.
Well, Brian, your cat loves to be on the air.
Yeah.
Look at what cats do. And I noticed at one point the cat was right behind you, and the tail was showing up behind your back, and it looked like you had a tail.
The tail used to be white at the tip, but it's like gray now because it was all dirty from
crawling between the floors.
Yeah, his back feet are white usually, and they're a little gray.
Yeah. Oh, well, you know, this is all too exhausting. It's too exhausting.
He got fired, you know, but I mean, Stephen Miller.
Well, you know what it is? It's the fear. It's the fear of ABC getting repercussions from Trump.
Yeah, I mean, right. I mean, you know, Stephen Moran guy or whatever, he'll end up at like News Nation now probably or whatever. Isn't that like where fired reporters go to get their?
That's where Cuomo's there.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You know, like, so you know he'll be the new 9 p.m. guy or something in a couple weeks probably.
No, but you know, I mean, it's terrible that these networks are running scared. You know, they're just afraid to have any kind of opinion. Or to have any of their reporters even write an opinion that isn't even, it's on like Twitter or what you say, X or whatever it's called now.
Yeah.
And it went on X and it had nothing. It was his opinion. It was his writing. And nobody says, oh, ABC feels this way. And as long as it doesn't show up that way in his reporting, what's bad about it, you know?
Yeah, what he said really wasn't even that bad either. But,
no.
But yeah, I mean, I've said for a multiple years or whatever. I mean, Stephen Miller is a little fascist. I mean, it's not.
You don't hide it,
right? I mean, you know, he's an aggressive ultra nationalist. You know, fascist dude. I mean, it's not hard to figure that out.
But shouldn't that be considered by most people to be un-American?
It is, yes.
Think?
Yeah.
Well, their justification is that there's a whole bunch of people who came to the United States where they never got effectively agreed to be.
But they didn't come in
illegally.
They came in illegally.
Yeah.
Well,
but I know a lady who comes in, does some stuff at her house, and she's terrified. She just hides in her house all the time.
You know, we have a woman who cleans our place, and she's from Mexico. She was from Mexico, and she was left. She went to Puerto Rico and came back okay. And I would imagine Puerto Rico would be all right, right? Because Puerto Rico is part of the United States, technically. Yeah.
Yeah. People in Puerto Rico live in the United States, really.
Yeah. Well, they get. Do they get to vote? Yes, I believe so. Don't they? They just don't get to be a state.
No electoral votes or whatever.
Yeah. So anyway, and it's just who knows, you know.
The Jon Stewart clips are pretty funny. You know, they show, Trump saying, "We're gonna get the murderers, we're gonna get the rapists," and then they show ICE at Home Depot.
Yeah, right. Did you see the other night with him that he had a thing where he talked about Musk and Trump fighting with each other, and he said he'd like to think it's like this, and he showed two gorillas fighting each other. And then he said, but it's really like this, and they showed two cats going.
Two cats.
He said, that's what it's really like. Two pussies.
That's what we should be talking about. But now, that's simmered down because all this other stuff's going on.
Well, you know something? What it simmered down was Musk brought up this whole thing about Trump and what's his name?
Epstein files.
Epstein and the Epstein files. And as soon as that happened, he sent the troops to California, and so that shut that story down.
Yep.
But, my question is, why don't these networks like MSNBC keep talking about that story? They can talk about, can't they talk about both at the same time? Yeah.
I mean, we're not surprised he's in the Epstein files, right? I mean, we saw a lot of pictures of him. You guys from New York knew that stuff, right?
I'm sure he had sex with some of Epstein's women, and they were all underage. I'm sure. I don't have any doubt in my mind. Okay? The only reason he was hanging around Epstein was to get laid. Come on.
Yep.
I know the mentality of somebody like that. Yeah. So I mean, I'm not in any doubt there was something there. There's a lot there. I mean, Trump is a gangster. He's a crook. He's everything. And I guess I'm now going to be fired by Gabnet for my opinion. But So anyway,
there was a lot of that stuff today, And I mean, I think they wanted the big thing today, before this Padilla stuff, to be the hearing they had. I watched a lot of it, where they had these Democratic governors come testify before a House committee. These governors from these sanctuary states, and they were going to hammer them and all that, but no one's really going to see any of those clips because of all this stuff that happened. But I watched a lot of it. I mean,
so did I.
I watched this part where that obnoxious congressman, that Donald or whatever from Florida, the black guy, was trying to chew the New York governor out about all the money you're wasting fixing up Penn Station. You could be getting rid of the illegal immigrants, and I can't believe you're spending all this money on Penn Station. He went on and on and on, and she just let him. And
well, we have to have a train for them to leave on.
Yeah, but the point is, New York isn't spending any money on Penn Station. She was like, sir, Penn Station is owned by Amtrak, which is owned and operated by the federal government. Every dollar that you just mentioned was appropriated by the United States Congress. You may very well have voted for the bill giving the money to Penn Station.
And what did the guy have?
New York didn't give Penn Station any money. I have zero control over everything you just. I mean, they just look like clowns with some of this shit. But they were looking for a lot of sound bites today.
Well, I love it when you have people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who flagrantly admits that she didn't even read the bill.
Yep.
And if she had read it, she might not have voted for it. Yeah. And you go, what? Come on, you were hired to do a job. If I'm hired to do a radio program and I don't come in and do it, I get fired, okay? You don't read a bill that's very important and know what's in it, or at least have somebody else read it to you, and you still don't know what's in it, then you didn't show up for work. I'm sorry, you know? And I just think that anybody who uses that as an excuse, it's
I don't know what congressman or their staffer, whoever wrote him his little note card that he was going off of didn't know. Like, you're about to just go up there and make an accusation that's not even. I mean, it's not even remote. It's not New York State's money. You know, I mean, it's just, you know, it's like there was this congressman on the radio yesterday complaining about the SALT provision, the state and local tax provisions, and the big beautiful bill are all about. This is some weird thing they do, you know, because he's talking about all these states that spend money, and unlike our state, Tennessee, we don't have an income tax, and this other state, Republican, they don't have an income tax, but we lose out on, I don't know, this, that, or the other. But all these states that have an income tax, like New York and California, they spend all this money when they want to build a museum to something stupid or another. And I mean, this is how he's talking. You know, they take the tax book and they do that. Well, I mean, if that's what, first of all, there's nothing wrong with museums, but I mean, if that's what the people in that state voted for, that state can spend that money however it wants. It's their state tax money.
Yeah.
It's their state legislature. It's their state governor. If that's what they voted for, I mean, where'd all their states' rights? Let the states run their own business. Nonsense.
That's a big point right there, because
where's that at?
all through that, you're talking about turning everything over to states' rights, yet he turns around and bypasses the state.
Well, also, did
LA.
anybody fail to mention the fact the reason we got so many of those immigrants here is because they were shipped up here by Abbott, the governor of Texas?
Yep.
And put them on a bus and sent them up here, telling them lies.
Yep.
We're sending you someplace to have jobs and things like that. No, sending them to New York. That's where we got the major influx of those migrants. I just, it's so wrong. I mean, I don't know why our state didn't sue him and have him charged with kidnapping, for crying out loud. It was terrible.
Same fucking thing they're doing now.
Yeah, but we don't do anything about it because we're Democrats and we're nice.
That's how the states want to run their business.
Huh?
You know?
That's
how the states want to run their business.
Yeah.
You know, financially, it's not, you know, the whole system of the whole federalism model that the Republican Party preached on for decades has fully collapsed, you know, and I mean, now they just choose it whenever they need it, you know. It's just, it's
Well, for the most part, you don't have Republicans anymore. You have something else completely, but you don't have Republicans. Because, you know, as a Democrat, these aren't the Republicans I've known all these years. The Republicans I've known simply disagreed with me, you know, and that was it. You know, it wasn't a hostile relationship.
They're giving real Republicans a bad name.
Yeah, they really are.
Sent a message to Patrick earlier today, and we talked about that. And,
Yep.
Well, what's his name? Arnold Schwarzenegger on Kimmel last night said,
He was good.
Everybody knows I'm a Republican, but this isn't the Republican Party I was part of, you know. And he just said it's terrible what's happening. And, you know, well, look, we're looking out the window now for the first time.
On the wrong side of the road.
Is it on the wrong side of the road? Are they on the other side of the road out there in Malaysia? I don't know. I guess so. Unless it could be, is his camera backwards? I don't know. No. Anyway, hey, listen, we got to go here. I thank our good friend Kevin for being with us tonight. I thank Josh for joining us. You maybe not going to be here tomorrow night, Josh? Are you on your way on your vacation?
Correct. I will not be here tomorrow.
Okay. And Charlie Wallace, a pleasure having you here. Now you can get back to kissing and hugging. And Brian Neary, you can get back to kissing and hugging your cat. Okay. And of course, Bree, I don't know, as long as you're in the bus, why don't you just jerk off? Anyway, We'll leave it all to all of you. Why don't each of you give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye at you, okay? There they go, ladies and gentlemen. That's our citizen panel for tonight. There'll be another one right here next with the intersection. You just simply go to our Facebook page wait a minute, what page is that? Oh, our cabinet page, cabinet.net. Go to the third column down. It says Alex Bennett. Below it, Amy Manuel. You click on that, and you can get to be on her panel. I'll see you again tomorrow night. Same time, same station in life. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody.